Nabi alayhi salam said, "Ma bayna bayti wa minbari rawdatun min riyadil jannah." Between my house and my minbar, there's a garden of paradise. A garden from the gardens of paradise. You'll find Jannat in Medina Sharif. But what if people can't go to Medina Sharif? What if they can't afford to go Medina Sharif? Nabi alayhi salatu salam said, "Oh, you who can't read your namaz in Riyadul Jannah, then at home Allah Ta'ala has placed Jannat under your mother's feet. Go and do your mother's khidmat and Allah will give you Jannat there as well." Certain places you will find Jannah, and one of them is your mother's feet. Now that doesn't mean you go home and you pick your mother's foot up and say, "Where's Jannah? I can't find it." No. It is metaphorically, Allah Ta'ala is saying that if you want to get close to Jannah, Rasulullah is saying you want to get close to Jannah. The quickest way to Jannah, don't look outside, that I'm going to go do this, and I'm going to go do this namaz, and I'm going to go do this sheikh's khidmat and that khidmat. Look at your mother's feet. Serve your mother, look after your mother, and you'll find Jannatul Firdaus. Wallahi, anyone who's done khidmat of his mother, bera par. Yaqeenan, many examples. Today, if you want to know through whose dua I have become what I am, it is through my grandfather's dua, my dada, my grandfather. My father came to this country in the late 80s. When he came here to work for his father. His mother, who were in Pakistan, brothers. My father came, worked hard, sweat and blood. Brother, my father would do 12-hour shifts in factories like these elders have done. 12-hour shifts in factories my father would go and do. I remember my father would come home. My mother tells me now, she says, any money we made or we saved up, we gave it to my father-in-law, my mother-in-law. Yani my father, my dad's parents, my grandfather, my grandmother in Pakistan. Anything. My mother said if we didn't give that money today, we would buy properties, we would be big, have big properties. Yaqeenan, nothing to our name, other than one house, nothing else. My parents have never gone into none of that. My father would go and do khidmah. Every time my grandfather would fall ill, my mother would say, "Go and serve your father." In his last moments in the dunya, when my grandfather became very frail and ill, he died of a stomach cancer. That cancer ate him alive from inside. My grandfather passed away like this. My mother and father, they went in Ramadan, I remember, in 2005. Amazing, this is a true story in my life, that if you ask my mother, whose du'as work for your children, she'll say my father-in-law, yani my grandfather, my dadaji, rahmatullah alayhi. My grandfather, what would my father do? My father, when he went from the UK to Pakistan to go and serve my grandfather, my mom says, my father used to carry my grandfather to the toilet and would seat them, shower them, wash them, clothe them, everything. My grandfather was on his last day before he died. My mother said it was in Ramadan, mid-Ramadan. My grandfather was in his last day, last night, and my grandfather was laying there, and my grandfather asked my mother, "Okay, what do you want? Any dua you want, ask me, I will make dua to Allah for you at this moment." My mother, wallahi, could have made dua for properties. She could have made dua for dunya, anything. Yaqeenan, that dua would have worked. But my mother said, make dua for my children, that they become good people. They become pious, become righteous. Yaqeenan, that Ramadan, my life switched. I changed. From having the mentality of being a bad boy, wannabe gangster, this mentality of chilling out, music, all of that, my life completely switched. I went itikaf 10 days. That Ramadan, my grandfather passed away. Today, you ask my mother, why is Imam Sahib how he is? She'll say one of the reasons, because of his grandfather's dua. That dua worked then. But the point is this, the killer point is this. When it came for my father to do khidmat, my mother to do khidmat, they left me and my brothers in this country with my auntie, and they took everything there. They went and looked after it from the bottom of their hearts. And because of their du'as, we are here today. This is the power of serving your parents. Brother, there are 3 du'as that Allah will never reject. When a traveler travels, Allah will not reject the du'a of a traveler. When the Muslim are being oppressed, Allah will not reject the du'a of the oppressed person. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, when a mother and father make du'a for his children, Allah will not reject that du'a. That du'a is heard and will be answered by Allah. Today, you say your children are not on the deen. I say, what du'a do you make? You say, oh Allah, make my daughter a doctor. You said, oh Allah, make my daughter an alima. Maybe she might have become an alima. But all your life you made this du'a, make my daughter a doctor. Make my son a doctor, lawyer, businessman, maldar, tekadar. Make him like this. You will be making these du'as as parents for your children, so what do you expect? Allah has accepted your du'a. But if you sat on the musalla and cried and said, Ya Allah, make my children good, pious, devout Muslims, then you will get good, pious, devout Muslims, for Allah does not reject the du'a of the mother. Allahu Akbar. Power of this du'a. So much power. Allah Ta'ala has given this woman, yani the mother. The mother has such a maqam in Islam that Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam emphasized it. The Sahaba understood it. Look at Hazrat Abu Huraira. Hazrat Abu Huraira accepted Islam. All the time he would make one dua, Ya Rasulullah, make dua, Allah guides my mother. Allah makes a Muslim. One day Hazrat Abu Huraira went to Rasulullah alayhi salam, asked him, Ya Rasulullah, make dua for my mother. Nabi alayhi salam made dua and said, now go home and check. Go home and see your mother. So Abu Huraira went home quickly, knocked on the door. They seen the door was open. Sayyidina Abi Huraira was doing wudu. And she came out smiling and said, oh, my son, I've accepted this religion. Hazrat Abu Huraira said, this was the happiest day in my life. My mother became a Muslim. Allahu Akbar. These Sahaba served their mothers, had respect for their mothers. Rasulullah did khidmat of their foster mothers. Nabi wasalam in their time, this continued through the ages. Look at Hazrat Bishr Hafi rahmatullah alayhi. Sultanul Awliya Bishr Hafi. He used to say, there is nothing that makes me more happy than making my mother happy. Allahu Akbar. Hazrat Abdallah bin Umar radiyallahu ta'ala anhuma, Sahibzada of Umar Farooq radiyallahu anhu. Hazrat Abdullah bin Umar was going to do Hajj. When he went to do Hajj, you see there was one man who had his mother on his shoulders, carrying the mother, and saying, Maji, I fulfilled your haqq today. Today I've repaid my debt, I've paid you back. As Abdullah bin Umar said, come here you. He says, you think you repaid your mother? You think because you are doing tawaf around the Kaaba by carrying her on your shoulders, that you've repaid her? Young boy, you will never repay your mother, not even the 9 months you spend in your mother's womb. You will never be able to repay that time, never mind what you're doing now. All your life do khidmat of your mother. The dua she will give you in the end. Allahu Akbar. That is the dua that will work for you, inshaAllah. And I finish with this final point that I started with for the sisters. Sisters, look carefully at your life, how it's going. Tomorrow you will be mothers. Today you don't read Fajr. What Fajr will your daughters read tomorrow? Today you're interested in Shisha. How long are you going to carry on puffing on the Shisha pipe? Today you're more interested in your career. My career. You're more interested in your car. Tomorrow, what's going to happen? What attention will you give to your children? You think when you have children, you can throw them into nurseries, and you can carry on your career. What tarbiyah will you give them? The child needs the mother. That's the most important thing. Today, it's become a very big custom. We'll get babysitters who will babysit our children. MashaAllah. Opre, Ajnabi, outsiders come, you look after my children, we're going out for dinner. Table for two, Allahu Akbar. Why can't you take your children to your dinner as well? Why can't you feed them? Oh no, invading our privacy, we just got married. Wow. You just got married, so you want this privacy. But what kind of mentality are we adopting? Look, my mother, that generation, the generations before them, not these new generations, generations before them, those mothers were successful housewives. You know, when you bring children up, it's a full-time job. It's not a part-time job. If you don't give attention to your children when they are young, then they're going to lose the plot. I tell you, brothers and sisters, the attention my mother gave me, brother, I was on serious lockdown. You know, when you said lockdown, brother, lockdown existed in my life till I was 16 years old. Akhi, I didn't even have a phone till I was 17. Till 17, I didn't have a mobile phone. Man, that's how life was difficult for me. Brother, I didn't even know how my garden looked. We didn't go into the garden to play. People say, you're backward lifestyle, Imam. So look, you don't know what going on the street and that. I'm telling you. When your mothers bring you up like this, then alhamdulillah you become who I become. What do you think? You know, when people say to my mother, how do you get so pious children, Maulvis? My elder brother is an Imam. He's graduating from Jamia in July. My younger brother is Hafiz-e-Quran. My younger brother has done 4 hifz, the youngest brother has done 4 hifz of the Quran, juz of the Quran. My younger brother, then he is going to go do 6 years in Jamia al-Karam. My elder brother is going to do 3 more years, I'm going back for 3 more years. Yani, in 3 years' time, I would have done 6 years of Jamia. My elder brother 6 years. All 4 of us will be Maulvis. 4 Maulvis in one house. Allahu Akbar. Man, fatwas flying everywhere. He will drop one on me, I'll land 2 back on him, he will drop 3 on me, little one will come. Yeah. I was talking to Pizasa, I said, 4 Maulvis will be in one house, 4 fatwas, I got 4 mukarrir, all of them speak as well. My elder brother is a speaker. My younger brother wants to be a speaker. Youngest brother can speak. All speakers. What's going to happen? Pizasa goes, what more do you want? All of you on the deen. My mother, I share this not to boast or be arrogant, to give you confidence. Brother, look as an example. I'm born and bred in this country, in Bradford land. But we're not gone in on the street and that. There's no problem. We know what was happening out there. But my mother gave serious attention. Brother, we was never spoiled by my mother. My mother has a principle. For 16 years, give them a hard life. Then let them chill. Wallahi, it's worked wonders. 16, 17 years, my friends would come knock on the door. I remember so clearly. 3, 4 lads, in school we planned, we're going to go to the gym. We're going to work out. We're talking not today, these guys go gym. We were trying to go gym and we were 13 years old. Go gym. Came, knocked on the door. My mom goes, what do you want? They go, Asim no blane tae. Because he ain't coming out. Get out of here now. He ain't coming out. He's not allowed out. Yar, it knocked my confidence. My friends come in embarrassing. My mom. So now I look back and I think, thank God my mom did that. For if I went out at 13, man, where would I be today? I'm so glad. People think it's backward, brother. This is what makes you. It is this tarbiyah. Knowing how to bring your children up. Today, people give freedom to their kids, give them mobile phones, spoil them rotten. Oh, you know, I put them mukri jai. I put them upset ho jai. Putter hai na, you know, it's ladla. Ladla, okay, you're going to give him tabah, you're going to destroy his life. You give him so much freedom. I'm not here to say to your parents, take the freedom from their life, but find a balance. When it's time to show love, you show love. When it's time to be disciplined, you give discipline. It's the key. My mother's tarbiyah has worked. When women ask my mother tells them straight, you got to do what I did. And that's simple, lock them. Don't give them so much of a social life till 17, 18. Now, alhamdulillah, Thumma alhamdulillah, I can go stay in another country for 7 days, my mother wouldn't worry. But she knows. I can go 3-4 days out of the house, she won't say, where are you? She'll know I'm on the deen. She knows what I'm doing. That's why now my mother realizes, my mother knows now is a time I can give him freedom. If Umar on that, there's a time to give a mobile phone. There's a time to give freedom. The sisters need to understand how to bring the children up. I've given a lot of attention to them, but even fathers, you young lads, tomorrow will be fathers as well. Today you got earrings in your ear, you got lines in your head, you're walking around like bad boys, you think this and all that. Tomorrow what's going to happen to your kids? Would you want them to be bad boys like you? How long are you going to be a bad boy? And there always comes a point in your life that you're going to have to change. But everyone will have a time and they will change. Don't let that time pass you by. Take that opportunity. You're young now. Make most of this time to do ibadah, to worship Allah, to get close to Rasulullah. Become good people. Work on your character so your character becomes good. If you're a bad boy with a bad boy mentality, you're going to want a girl that's got a bad girl mentality. True or not true? Today you think you're bad and that, you're not going to want an alima type girl. You're not going to want a religious girl. You're going to say, she's too much for me. You're going to say, I want a girl who, I go shisha, she can go shisha with me. If your mentality is like this, then today what we find is bad girls want good guys. And bad guys want good girls. True or not true? The guy's a bad lad, but he says, I want a hafza, so my kids be good. The girl's bad and she says, I want an alim. It don't work like that, man. It doesn't work like that. Why don't you sort yourself out first? Talk to myself here more than anyone. When we change ourselves, then you'll see. Everything falls into place. But it all begins, life begins where? In your mother's womb. Like your life began there. And when it begins there and it ends alone in the grave. And in between is life. That's your life. From the womb till the grave. From your mother, the first person, and then who's the last person? Maybe your children will be standing over you. I don't know, Allah knows best. But you live your life according to the Qur'an and Sunnah, what is right and not wrong, what is right and not wrong, then inshallah you will see good things will come. Allah will put barakah, rahmah, aman, sakoon into our life. I make dua to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that Allah ta'ala gives us all tawfiq to act upon what has been said. Allah Almighty forgives us for our major and minor sins. Allah ta'ala grant us all to the wasa'il of our parents, Jannatul Firdaus. And if our parents have left this dunya, Allah grant them Jannatul Firdaus. Allah forgive their saghira and kabira guna. If I've said anything wrong, wrong is from me, or good is from Allah and His Habib, Sayyiduna wa Nabiyuna Muhammadur Rasulullah Sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa sallam. The du'as of my mother and father, and the nigah of my shuyukh and my teachers. وأقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.